me a moment with your friend. I've never been on trial for my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast called Gerard, Brooklyn Dre, just me. How y'all doing?
What up?
What up?
All right. Got to talk about the elephant in the room today. The Fulton County DA announced major gang arrest and indictments once again. Y'all know.
Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to hide.
She is on Navy.
I've got one thing to say. You know, when I watched this, when I watched the video or whatever, you know, to do the research for this show, you know, I started laughing, not because of what everybody's going through, because, you know, there's a serious side to this, because it affects so many other people outside of the people who are going through, you know, who are getting locked up or who are locked up. But when she was like, not in my county, and I will use the lyrics against you, I started laughing because it reminded me of The Hangover. Remember when they was in the police?
Not up in here. Not up in here.
Like, not up in here.
So, what she was saying is that the, I guess it's a hybrid gang of, you know, various different gangs all over they call themselves the drug rich gang. And so these guys are targeting people that are like posting stuff on social media, you know, various celebrities and all, and they're running up in these houses because people are like showing what's in their closets, what's in their garages, what have you, whatever they show.
Yeah, like,
and they're targeting it straight up and down. You know what I mean?
First of all, is it Fani or is it Fani?
I think it's Fani.
Listen,
Willis.
They keep dancing around it. You know, it's Fani.
I believe that.
I was watching the Real Housewives, and I remember seeing an episode where, and she talks about Marlo, but Marlo Hampton, her closet is like the size of my house. Okay, like she had it built, and like you walk in the closet, like you could sit down in the closet, like she has like all her jewelry, whatever. So I guess she wanted it to be seen on there, or whatever the case may be. You know, people, we as people of color, as soon as we get something, we want everybody to see that we got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, like, I guess, you know, because I don't know, I guess because we were lacking for so long that when we get a little bread or we get a little dough, we do something that's over $1 million. We like, yo, check this out. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, the world is watching.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they have like state of the art security and all of that, because she has security. They, you know, but when you showing the layout of your house,
apparently not enough security, because now,
when
Marlo Hampton has the drug rich gang got, you know what I mean? So
so that's what I'm saying. You showing the layout of your house, like you running the risk of, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, first of all, let's face it. She ain't got no goons on deck. She got higher security, which probably is like some agency or something like that. They get the hold a fake badge and a baton or something like that. So that's probably the gist of her security.
I mean, if somebody run up and do a home invasion and you in the crib, you know what I'm saying? That's like there's
so many different ways that can go crazy.
The security don't spend the night with you.
But they should be outside at least.
They should be outside with that kind of money.
Yeah, right. Or with that kind of jewelry in your closet and those shoes. Like her shoes cost more than my paychecks.
What do you think about Fani? You think she's genuine or not, man?
No, she's for real.
Oh yeah, she's on debt.
She's for real.
I'm saying, I get it that she's for real and she's dedicated to what she's doing. I mean, what do you think? Like, she's genuine, or is there like an ulterior motive?
In other words, I think she's just like targeting
what would
these
be the
rappers and things
motive?
like that. Because that's what she's getting accused of, is like, you just targeting rappers. Targeting, of course, you know, by way of tribalism, people will say, well, she's being used to bring down successful black people or whatever the case is. But these are, at the end of the day, man, alleged criminals. You know what I mean?
But some people would say that she's getting like a political gain out of it, because it definitely looks like she has like aspirations to, you know, go to the next level.
I'd vote for her.
I like her so far, but I'm watching her.
Oh yeah, everybody is on. Anytime you're running for office, you should be on the radar for any type of office, because you know they say about absolute power, man. You know what I mean?
Man,
So,
I just know that I think what she's doing is pretty dope. Being as though my sister lives down there and my sister works in Fulton County. And I just feel like, you know, I want my family to be safe. So of course, if she's getting this type of activity up off the street, that's a little bit less for me to worry about. I mean, these are people that's just not just targeting celebrities. You got to remember, been brought up on what, murder charges, drug related charges. You know,
well, the new gang didn't have. I don't think they had any murders. But
it's not a new gang though. They all part of the same gang.
No, I'm saying the one
like 2016 or something.
This the one that she's talking about as of right now.
Right now,
she's not talking about YSL. YSL was convicted of. Well, they were charged with different murders and stuff like that. But this new organization that they claim. Well, she said this
organization, and correct me wrong. We're going to play we're going to play her clip in a second. Yeah, but I think they were operating since 2016. She was saying like this hybrid gang or whatever. So,
but she's saying they don't have any murders. She was saying, if I remember correctly, if you play it, she'll say it. But I think she was saying that they think was just like pretty much home invasions and stuff like that.
Was Young Thug a part of this whole thing?
I don't think in regards to this. I think this gang, she said, wasn't even on her radar. She said it was, I believe, out of DeKalb County. And she said they just happened to do a crime in Fulton County and put themselves on her radar. And that's when she went after them.
All right, so we're gonna listen to what DA Willis has to say. All right.
Hold on 1 second before you press the button. The reason why I asked about Young Thug, because he is one of the people that's locked up from before, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, because the reason why I asked is because, you know, he offered Kanye West. He told Kanye West that he could have his acres of land. He got over 100 acres, and he told him he could have as many as he wanted, as many as he needed in Atlanta. I think that was crazy. Like, yeah, that's crazy. But go ahead. I'm sorry to hold everything up.
All right, so we're gonna just check out what she has to say, and we'll break it down from there. So check this out.
Today's indictment is the Drug Rich Gang, which is a hybrid gang, and it started back in 2016. That's how far we can document this gang existing. We know that it is a gang that primarily actually exists out of DeKalb County, the Stone Mountain and the Tucker area. But as we know, crime and criminals have no boundaries, and they found their way into my county, Fulton County. I have a message today that you will hear repeated time and time again. If you thought Fulton was a good county to bring your crime to bring your violence to, you are wrong, and you are going to suffer consequences. And today is the start of some of those consequences. This gang, as I mentioned,
storm's coming.
Yes, Fani went that.
Is coming.
Fanny want that smoke, man.
Yes, she do. And
let me tell you, that hair look good. That dress is nice.
I love the way she articulates her words. Like I think she's dope.
Fanny like that black sister that's firing you, but you know, like that, you look cute. It's talking nice and slick to you all at the same time.
Yeah. If more states adapted this whole mentality, because I know like New York had an issue with the drill music and all this stuff like that. She's taking the gloves off, and it might change some tides, man.
Man, there's too many. I don't know if they could do that out here. I don't know. See, and another thing, New York is a little bit different. Like, and the reason why I say that, not saying that, I'm just saying like, it's been known for a long time, allegedly, I'll say, that, you know, that NYPD gets paid off. You know, people be on payola and whatnot. They get, you know, so it's a little bit more leeway with it, I'll say. I don't know if anybody in Atlanta's paying off the cops.
New York has always been a hugger criminal state anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? So, not to say that, you know, everybody's getting off or anything like that, but a lot of things that you can do in New York, like, you can't do in no other state. You know, I've known people that stabbed somebody in New York and came home. You know what I mean? The same night. You know what I mean? Atlanta, you go there and you stab somebody, you're gonna be facing some real time. You know, so it's different states. It's different. It's different all over.
Yeah. So we're gonna continue on with the press conference, man. Give me your thoughts on what you hear.
is a hybrid gang. It does include members of the Gangster Disciples, the Crips, and the Bloods. We know that here in Atlanta, Georgia, that hybrid gangs are something that we regularly see. We know that this gang does have some identifiers that connects it together. They use things like prescription bottles and money symbols, and this is in their jewelry and their tattoos, and we see that present here. We have identifiers identifying this gang. But that's not the problem, that people collected together or they decided to use symbols. It's what they did once they joined together. What this indictment represents is 16 different victims in our county, 16 different incidents of violence, and 26 defendants. They committed crime everywhere from the south to the north of my county, which included Union City, Atlanta, and Sandy Springs. The earliest crime committed that is captured in this indictment is a 2018 carjacking. The latest was committed just this month. We are aware that crimes have occurred in other jurisdictions, but what this indictment primarily covers are the 16 crimes that committed here in Fulton County. The victims, they do not discriminate, but what they did do is target people who show their wealth on social media. So I do have a message for the public where it is kind of fun to put your things on social media and show off. Unfortunately, these gangs are becoming more savvy, more sophisticated in the way that they target you. And this is a way that we know that they targeted these individuals. And it's because of these great detectives' work where they were able to show that they were following these individuals and using it to their advantage. Some of the celebrity victims included Calvin Ridley, who is a loved member of our Falcons, Brad Guzan, who is a loved member of the Atlanta United team, Marlo Hampton, who is on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Brittany Mealy, who is the mother of Future's child. All very well-known celebrities who have decided to take residence right here in Metro Atlanta because this is a great place to live and we cannot tolerate this. But don't be fooled. This indictment also covers other individuals who are not as famous but also had their wealth on social media. Lots of social media influencers. The incidences that are in here is, thank God we don't have a murder, but we have kidnapping. We have armed robberies, we have shootings, and we have home invasions, very violent crimes, things that cannot be allowed in our county, and all done again at the hands of crime, at the hands of gangs. What I want the public to see today is a collaboration of law enforcement, because as they have gotten more savvy, so have we. And so what you have is a collaboration of the Atlanta Police Department, the Union City Police Department, the United States Attorney's Office is here today, the Fulton County Sheriff, the Marshals, and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. We are working together. We are working collaboratively, and we have a message, and that is get out of this county or expect to start seeing sentences that go life plus. Because I am not going to negotiate with gang members. Yeah, I am not going to allow pleas. We are going to find you. We are going to convince you. And we're going to send you to the prison for the rest of your days. And I'm not apologizing for that.
Nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide.
The rain is coming, folks.
Hold on.
Fani.
Nah, you should have played that. You should have played that joint. You can't stop the rain.
Yeah.
You should have sampled Cedric the Entertainer Barbershop. Run, nigga, run.
Wait. Okay, so
Fani ain't playing, man.
I'm confused. Who did they kidnap?
If you hold anybody against their will, that's considered kidnapping. So say if you're doing a home invasion,
that's kidnapping.
Yeah, that's a kidnapping charge.
If you got them held at gunpoint,
gunpoint, duct taped, anything that you do that's against their will is considered.
I heard with kidnapping, actually, it's kind of crazy. They're so crazy with kidnapping. It's like if you detain anybody in any way, like for instance, like if you grab somebody in the street and you say, put a gun to them and you say, I want you to walk over to this alley with. I heard that can be considered a form of kidnapping. That's how serious it is. Like anytime you detain anybody in any kind of way, from what I understand, it can be a form of kidnapping.
Fanny said, I'm not playing with y'all.
Yeah, Fanny's no joke, man.
And I will use your lyrics against you. I mean, if you look, if there's a crime going on, this is what's going on. I remember at one point they was doing this a lot in Chicago. Like they was doing a lot of this in Chicago.
And I'm actually playing a clip right now where it discusses that with the stuff that these guys were seeing on these records, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
It was after the crime was committed.
After the crime was committed. So check this out.
Holding money while wearing a Monopoly chain. Walker, one of the suspects accused of breaking into Mariah Carey's home. Alleged gang member Robert Gunter posting a photo of him holding a gun, wearing an RX hat and chain. Gunter accused of attempting to break into an Atlanta United player's home. It's this song posted on YouTube featuring suspect Taylon Barnes. The lyrics, sticking people up, how you think I got those kicks on my feet, and creeping in our back door, take your stuff, then I sell it to my big bros. A photo of Barnes on Instagram holding a gun and wearing jewelry with RX insignia. Barnes accused of attempted murder and burglary. This is just a snapshot of evidence pulled from social media accounts of the 26 suspects.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, if you
take your stuff and sell it to my big homies.
if you're dumb enough to do a crime on camera and put it on social media, and you deserve pretty much everything you get.
And if he didn't do it and he's singing about it, like that's the sad part. Because remember we discussed this on a previous episode when the first joint happened. What we discussed was even if they didn't do it, a lot of people could be associated with what's going on. Even if they get a little tattoo, little young boys look up to these people.
That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I was saying in regards to, you have to be careful. And I think Fani, if she's going to be legitimate, you got to pay attention to these so-called gang laws and RICO laws, because what happens is we know there's a lot of people that ain't getting no money, that ain't real. They're just people that just hang out with these people, or they from the neighborhood. And there's a lot of people that's going to get locked up, a lot of children that's going to get locked up that technically don't got nothing to do with this.
Just because they idolize these people.
Or just because they grew up in the neighborhood. They know these people. You know what I mean? If you've been on a phone call with these guys because they're your friends or whatever the case may be.
Or your cousin.
You can be tied into the indictment.
Yep.
Or you can just be a person that's from a neighborhood. Like I guess what you're saying is more like if you're a kid ain't probably running around with these guys, but idolize what they do. So you know how like back in the day, you can go buy a Wu-Tang chain, but that don't necessarily mean down with the Wu-Tang Clan.
Right.
So that's what most of these young bucks do, man.
But had anybody in the Wu committed any type of crimes or got indicted, then what we're saying is anybody who had on them chains, you know what I mean, or were affiliated.
Well, I think the difference with them is that the way that they move is they understood that had nothing to do with what we doing, and they quick to say that person is not associated with us. They never presented themselves as a gang.
Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the major thing in regards to that. But again, like you said, it's very important that she be careful with that, man, because we know in law enforcement, the way they do it, especially with the feds, what they do is they go pick up a square who's down with everybody. You know what I mean? Because the square is more than likely going to tell everything, because he's not even involved. He's just hanging out. You know what I mean? So he ain't going to jail for everybody. He's not doing no time in jail if he never got no money.
Not to cut you off, but what obsessed me is the fact that while people are out there living this life and, doing whatever they do, they don't look at the consequences and they don't look at those who suffer after the fact. Now it's like a whole bunch of families that are broken up. For what?
But Jess, I don't even think I think now that we living in a generation that they really don't consider that at all. They don't care.
I know.
First of all, to start with caring about yourself. If you know that you're doing something stupid and then you do like these guys do, get on social media, they flagrantly got the chains on, barrels of money around them, and then talk about in a song how you committed the crime that you being accused of. Come on, man. You ain't even taking the time to think and consider your own welfare. You know what I mean? To move correctly. So I don't expect them to care about XYZ's family.
If they're doing wrong and you caught them, great. And I think that's the problem with the court system now. It used to be a situation where it's like, we found you wrong. We can present the case based on the evidence that we have for you. Now with these other laws, these RICO laws and these gang laws, they really don't have to find a crime with anybody. They might have to find a crime in regards to maybe 1 or 2 people within the gang. And then everybody else that just made a phone call, got a t-shirt or got a tattoo is going to jail just like everybody else. So that's the scary thing about that. And then I'm also skeptical too. Like I was telling you earlier, I've seen the thing with her father. Her father, I believe his name is John Floyd, and he was a Black Panther. And the thing that kind of shook me is that her father, I think he had a newspaper which was called the Harambe News or something like that back in the days, and he was good friends, from what I understand, with Ron Karenga. And anybody knows anything about Ron Karenga was alleged to be the person who brought down the Black Panther Party. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like a history. And if your daddy was an informant, again, it's alleged. A lot of people are saying this, you know, a lot of the elders are saying that they believe that he was an informant. Let's pay attention to Fani, you know what I mean?
Because once it's all said and done and the convictions are given out and all of that, I want to see what's next. You know what I mean? Like, where are we going with it next? Is this just like focused towards this particular gang activity, or are we going to be tough on all crime across the board?
I hope that they pick the right people, because one thing I can't stand is how it's so many people of color in jail that they don't necessarily need to be there. I'm not saying everybody's not a criminal. You know, that's not, by no means, that's not what I'm saying. I just hope that the right people are being put behind bars and that a point is just not trying to be proven. You understand what I'm saying?
Like I always say, as a teaching moment to these children, you know, if any of these kids are listening to the podcast, you know, which I told my son years ago, be careful who you talk to on the phone. Be careful of who you hang out with. And if all the crew go get a tattoo, that tattoo ain't for you. You know what I mean? I suggest that you don't get no tattoos. But again, once you put these labels on yourself, you're walking around with the crew t-shirt on or whatever like that. Nowadays, that's a gang. I don't care, you know, what you think. You might even think y'all just a couple of guys from the block or something like that. They're quick to stamp gang on anything now. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean?
Because they can wrap you up real quick. You know what I mean? So that's a teaching moment. If you're a child, especially in Fulton County right now, you're and you're over, I don't even know what age you want to put on it, but you got to be a complete idiot to join a gang as of right now. In any state, anywhere.
State. Yeah, anywhere.
But best believe somebody getting jumped in. It's sad. How many times have you watched a TV show and you've seen like where like somebody got locked up or had to do a lot of time and they, because they was involved in something stupid like this, and they talking to them and they say stuff like, man, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have lost like this many years of my life.
You got friends and family saying that.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. You know what I mean?
That's like, like it's crazy because there's so many like cases of, I was just looking, I still get alerts for when I was in Delaware, like as far as Delaware news, and I was looking at, the crime, and there was I think a 15 or 17-year-old boy murdered a couple of days ago, and they picked up like 2 teens, the suspects. And I'm like, and that's the first thing I thought of, like, what are these kids thinking? Like, when they get locked up, because I'm a firm believer that when you get locked up, it's either going to help you or it's going to hurt you. I see a lot of people that's been institutionalized, they come out and they're not the same. And it didn't help them. And it messed up their thought process, and they lost a lot of time, and it affected their families. Like, this is something that we see every day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Well, others that go in and it does straighten them out, and they be like, yo, I never want to do this again. But now the time that they're giving you for the stuff that's going on, it's not worth it. It's not worth it just to say you part of a gang. It's not worth it.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
And then, again, like you said before, you're like, what are these kids thinking? I mean, they're not thinking. You know what I mean? They're not thinking. I mean, truthfully speaking, most of these children that have purchased a firearm, they ain't probably never shot it. Never even shot the firearm. But what happens is they get in a situation where their reputation is questioned or whatever. And they want to say, I bust my gun.
Or they end up using it for the wrong reason. But let me explain something to you. That's another difference between New York and down there. Like, when I was living in Delaware, it's nothing for how many gun ranges they have out there, indoor, outdoor. You know what I'm saying? Off of Route 9, up 202, Target Masters. You got a gun shop like every couple of blocks in Delaware. You could just walk in, get a gun. It's nothing. Out here, these guns is hot. You know, the gun law has changed, but most of the guns are hot. So, you know, it's crazy. So these kids, they're able to get guns early, at an early age. They down south able to get guns. And it's just like buying a 40 when you underage up here, when we was drinking 40s or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, in the South and in the Midwest, that's considered like their culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
always the way.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That was always the way with these guys. Like most kids that's 13 and 14, probably somewhere in Texas, hypothetically speaking, is probably they're getting a gun for their 13th and 14th birthday. You know what I mean? So like, this is my first.
They could break a gun down and put it back up. You know what I mean? You know.
So we
initially in the South, you know, first of all, in most Southern states, you know, or even in the Midwest, most people have a background of military. That's number one. You know, number two, a lot of people are into like hunting and stuff like that. So that's why a lot of times they don't want they want their gun rights in the South. They ain't giving up their guns. And they also believe in the right to bear arms, and they believe in this Constitution and all that other stuff like that, all, you know, to the bone. You know what I mean? So, and that's just the way the South is.
Yeah.
But again, man, with these children, man, you know, I pray for all of these kids, man, that, you know, don't mess around and join into these organizations. Or I don't even say and the sad part about it is it's not even an organization. That's what really ticks you off about it, because it's not like a real criminal. Yeah. It's not organized crime. So when they put the RICO charge on this and stuff like that, it's kind of like ridiculous. Because organized crime, you know, was the mafia, you know, is the cartels and stuff like that. You know, even they might have had some black organizations that, you know, did organized crime, but this ain't organized crime. This is just a bunch of random kids calling themselves Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, Nietas, whatever they want to call themselves. And, you know, maybe 5 people in that gang or maybe 10 people is getting some money. The rest of them is just a bunch of hanger-ons.
So that's the thing, is like when you targeting an organization, normally there's a head to that organization. Has anybody heard that there's a head of this organization that's probably in the Atlanta area? I mean, we don't know. We're not there, but
that's what they said. That's what they said when they did the first sweep. You know, like it had broke it down. I forgot what article it was, but it was like, you know, certain rappers were up there and they were the ones calling the shots.
But that's the thing. Are we going based off the fact that they're celebrity? That they that the media and law enforcement puts them at the height of it to say, well, since they are these big rappers or whatever, these are the ones that is calling the shots. When in actuality, we know that a lot. Yeah, like a lot of times, rappers. I know when I growing up and all, you might have rappers that was funded by drug dealers. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean that rapper was the head of a drug organization.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's how you got to look at it.
Well, a lot of in regards to her first little set of gang indictments with the group YSL, I believe they said that the kid, which is the rapper Young Thug, they're saying that he was like one of the leaders or something like that.
Right.
So,
and they were saying that what's the name had a hit put out on him as soon as when he got into jail. The one that Lil Wayne daughter was dating. I like him too. YF Lucci, they said he was in jail. And maybe like a month after he was in there, like they had a hit put out where he got stabbed up, and he was asking to like he moved or something like that because he feared for his safety. So that goes to show you that they have beef within their circle.
Well, again, you know, this is, you know, I hate to say it. I mean, it's NIGGER business. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, that's what it is, man. Hood politics, man. It ain't nothing new to this, man. If you probably scale back the reason why this kid is, why they try to put her head on her, it probably equal up to somebody taking somebody's girl or, you know, something stupid. You know what I mean? It's not organized crime, man. It's not organized crime. And that's the sad thing about it is that I believe they should lock up who is the offender, you know, but, you know, when you start dancing in the whole neighborhood because of this, that's when it gets scary. And again, I think she being who she is, she looks like she has like political aspirations, you know what I mean? And she's definitely gonna fly up the ladder.
Oh yeah.
She's a good talker. She relates well to black people. She can do that, you know, sister talk, and she could be, you know,
and
she
still
can
handle business.
and still handle business. You know what I mean? So that's a very good quality. It's almost like a Barack kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like Barack can get down and talk to the brothers, or so too. He can stand in front of the DNC and have one of the greatest speeches ever. You know what I mean? And hit everybody in the pocket. And I think she possessed those qualities.
So that's not going to come without his criticisms, though.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, when you look into her background, man, I tell you, man, that Ron Karenga thing kind of scares me. Yeah, anybody, you know, you get the chance, Google Ron Karenga and Kwanzaa and all other stuff like that. And her father being affiliated with them somehow is kind of scares me. Not to mention that I believe Ron Karenga was a part of the US movement, and I believe her father's a Black Panther, and that was kind of crazy too, because I believe allegedly they're saying that Ron Karenga and his US movement people, or maybe some of the US movement people, had something to do with some Black Panthers being killed, Bunchy Carter and all other stuff like that. So how they have that relationship after that, I'm not sure.
One thing I will tell you that I'm a firm believer. The media makes things worse sometimes.
You think they're hyping this up, Jess? You think they're hyping it up?
It's already hype, you know, and I think it's like, I'm talking from experience. Like, something happened to me when I was living in Dover, me and my roommate at the time, and I won't get into detail, but when it hit the paper, it was like, where are you getting this information from? That is not what happened. So sometimes, like, you know, sometimes it could be a little crazy because they have to have a story. You know, people want to be entertained.
I'm gonna stop taking your phone calls.
So many things was running through my head after you said it. I'm gonna respect your conversation.
You just got off the phone.
I feel crazy because, like, the past couple of episodes, I sound like a criminal, y'all. I'm not even doing it's not even that serious, but that had nothing to do with me, and it really didn't have anything to do with my roommate either. But the way they wrote it in the paper, you would have thought like we was getting busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop right there. Was there mug shots involved in this story? Where is your face anywhere in the paper?
No.
Thank goodness.
I'm gonna Google that. I'm gonna Google that. We're gonna figure that out.
But please go on. Continue the story.
So I'm just saying, like, you know, like at the end of the day, you know, the media, we have a responsibility. You know, the media has a responsibility to people. We have a responsibility as people to kind of, you know, have a little bit of integrity, man. Like, you know, just because a story has to be told doesn't mean that we have to, like, bash each other in the process. Just tell the story for what it is. But then I guess things would be boring. You know what I'm saying?
I get everything you're saying, but is it bashing if it's the truth?
We don't know if it's true. That's what I'm saying. Like, you never know with the media. You never know if it's true or not. Because sometimes it don't be true.
That's a good thing that you just said too, because all of these people have not been convicted as of yet. So, you know, again, we're going off of the fact that, you know, what she's saying. So that is true. You know, and also too, I just want to say, I like what Fani says. I've heard, you know, I even went deep into it, and I heard like her political run, and, you know, that she had against the previous DA, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And I liked it, man. I like everything she's saying, man. She sounds good, but I think also too, you know, somebody with like political aspirations and, you know, with kind of like that weird past that she has, I think everybody should, you know, just keep an eye on things so it don't get out of hand. But I like everything she's saying. Yo, these kids need to be in check. And I'm surprised the South let that gang thing go as far as it has gone.
Yeah, South.
You know what I mean? Because down South, yeah, it's changed a lot. You know, when I was, you know, coming up and I went down in the military, and anytime you ended up in the court down South, they first off, they were saying, oh, you from New York? Or you from Philly? You from, you know, these particular areas? You coming out here, you trying to change our way of living? Are you crazy? They'll give you time just for that. just for being out of state and doing something crazy. You know, I'm not even talking about selling. Get in a fight.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
How about driving?
You know, so it was a different,
driving is crazy.
A different kind of South. Driving, yeah, anything in the South.
Driving while black
Anything
on the road in the South.
So again,
yeah,
it's a scary situation.
Very
scary situation, man.
Mm-hmm.
Lost a few drops of pee, a few nights down there,
going through Virginia and whatnot, just to get
to
the deep South.
Shaky out there.
Yeah, man.
But you know, I guess the bottom line to the whole story is, you know, keep your eye on Fani. I think she's doing a good job. And also too, you know, I hope Fani, you know, I don't know if she gets a chance to listen to us, but you know, be careful of, you know, which kids you throwing in jail.
Yeah.
Make sure all those cases are tight. You know,
my prayers go up for the families that are involved in this, because it's got to be a stressful situation. You know, it's got to be stressful. And I can only imagine how I would feel if this was my child, just because my child's cousin, he's hanging with his cousin, and his cousin is affiliated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe my kid didn't have nothing to do with it, but because he's hanging with his cousin, automatically, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we've been taught for years, man, guilty by association. You know,
right.
A lot of times when we was growing up and we heard, you know, our people say it, you know, we didn't take it serious, like, you know, but as you get older and you see, this is what the law is. Pretty much, it's guilty by association.
Yeah.
Listen, man, and that's the thing too, man. We got to stop playing around in America like we ain't black people. You know what I mean? We are African American. Well, African American, whatever you want to choose, African American, black, whatever name you want to choose for us these days. You know, you are in America.
Yep.
And you better start acting accordingly, because it is what it is. You know, all these conscious community people coming around talking about, you know, resist and fight the cops and all the other stuff like that. Sounds good. You know what I mean? But, you know, I got a son. I want him to survive.
Everybody ain't gonna march for you, man. I tell people that all the time.
It's a fact.
They pick and choose the marches, brother.
Yeah, I know. You know, and I like, you know, the revolutionary side of things, but it got to come with some common sense.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel you on that.
Absolutely.
I feel you on that.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up this portion of it, y'all. So, yeah, man, we just got to keep our ear to the ground on this particular story. You know what I mean? And see exactly where Fani goes with this. So, any closing thoughts?
Get out of Fulton County. Stay out of Fulton County.
Not up in here.
Not up in here. Not up in here.
Yeah, we just keep our eye on the grind, man. Just see what it is, man. All right, Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. Also, check out our Only One Mic podcast YouTube channel. Thank you to everybody for the engagement. The numbers are going up. We got to applaud everybody. This is going good, y'all. Y'all are part of this. All right, so you can check us out on YouTube, catch up on the past and current episodes. Please don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can reach us via email at theonlyonemike00@gmail.com, Instagram and Twitter at theonlyonemikep1, Facebook and LinkedIn, The Only One Mic Podcast. There you can leave your comments. We thank you once again for your time and encourage you to speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. So until next time, please keep in mind that we never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, so we shouldn't have to run from a black man. Peace.
Peace.